industry and prospecting is a bit like fishing. I don't like fishing. But I love the fact that in our industry, if you've got enough rods in the pond, if you're doing your who do you know list, if you're doing your social media, if you're out networking, if you're doing your contact marketing, I promise you that you will get people coming to have a look at what you are doing. So remember, prospecting is like fishing, and you need to have enough rods in the pond at any one time to catch the big one. Not the little tiddlers, but you want the big ones. You want a bit of everything. Don't be one-dimensional. Don't just be sitting in front of your computers all day, every day, because I promise you that doesn't work. Don't just be going to networking groups and nothing else. That doesn't work in isolation. Don't just be a retailer and nothing else. You want to bring all the elements of networking together to become the professional. So you need to decide to become a professional networker. You need to make that decision. You need to embrace the skills that you need to learn to become a professional networker. You need to step outside of the comfort zone. And you need to share your business and your product with a passion whereby other people are drawn to you. In other words, don't apologize for what you're involved in. Don't apologize. Be proud. Stand tall. Put your shoulders back. Have that big smile. One of the things that I love doing, one of my rods in the pond, is what we call contact marketing. I love engaging with people. And many of you have seen some of my trainings I do on the power of contact marketing. But I'm not just going to do a full-blown training on that today because I don't have time. But I am just going to just give you a little bit of an overview of what's happened just in the last few weeks by way of me being prepared every time I leave the home to engage with people. Think back to those 7 key points that I spoke about before Nicola and Sunny came onto the stage. And now I want you to think about those 7 key points, and I want you to think about how you interact with people every time you leave your front door. Now, when you're brand new in the business, the very thought of talking to someone that you don't know will fill you with absolute horror. How many of you right now, as I'm talking about reaching out to speak to someone you don't know, are thinking, I can't do that, I just can't do that? How many of you have got sweaty palms and your heart's beating just a little bit faster right now because I'm asking you to reach out and speak to someone you don't know? Be honest. Yeah, most of you. Okay. You need to overcome that feeling that you're experiencing right now, because some of the best people you will ever meet will come through that chance engagement. I was in London last week working, and I was sitting in a lovely coffee shop, and I had 3 back-to-back meetings, and each meeting was about an hour to an hour and a half. One was a one-to-one and 2 were planning meetings. The one-to-one wasn't that long, it was about 35 minutes. And during the whole time that I was sitting in the department, sitting in the coffee shop, having coffee, there were 2 very beautiful Asian ladies sat at the table next to me. And they were having such fun together. They clearly hadn't seen each other for a while. They were beautifully turned out. They had lunch, they had cakes, they had coffee. And by the time I went to leave, they were still sat there. Now here's what the average networker does. They pack up their bits and they go. Not me. I look to my left and I look to my right. The Japanese ladies are still sat there. So I said to them, quite simply, as I was packing up my stuff, my iPad and my bits of support material, I said, ladies, it looks like you've had the most amazing lunch and afternoon together. And I said it with a big smile. And they laughed and said, we had. And I said, tell me, are you Chinese or Japanese? You don't mind me asking? They said, we're Japanese. I said, oh, that's really interesting. Is there a big Japanese community in London? And they went, yes, there is. And I said, that's really interesting. The reason I'm asking is because we're developing our business into Japan right now, and I'm wondering if you might be open to receiving a bit of information on what we do. You clearly look like very smart, beautifully turned out, happy, fun-loving ladies. What did they both say? They said yes. So we exchanged details. I gave them some literature that I happen to have with me because I'm always prepared. And I said to them, I'll be busy for the rest of this week, and over this weekend I'll be in Liverpool, but we must catch up next week. There you go, as simple as that. Now, who knows where that may lead us? I don't know. But you know what? I'm going to engage with them. I'm going to build the relationship. It may lead to something. It may not. I was at the airport, ready to go to Uganda. Happened to be in a queue. This was about 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago maybe. And there was a very nice black gentleman stood in the queue, and I got chatting to him. And as we got chatting, I said, we're going to Uganda for a wedding, and of course that created interest. And I said, where are you from? Are you from Uganda? He said, no, I'm from Zambia. I said, oh, that's fascinating. Why are you going to Uganda? He said, I've been visiting family in the UK. I'm now going to Uganda. I work in the HIV clinics, and we're opening up a new clinic in Entebbe. I said, really? How interesting. We got chatting. He was married. His wife is a nurse. She's back in Zambia. Guess what I said? Do you know something? We have a business in Zambia. And I think that your wife, coming from a nursing background, might find our products very interesting. Can I get some information to her? What did he say? Did he say, no, go away, I'm not interested? No, he didn't. He said, great, let's exchange details, and we did just that. So, the beginning of August, I'm on the plane back from France. And I always position myself on the plane where I can speak to somebody who's sitting next to me. So I'm sitting on the plane. I look to my right, it's John, fast asleep. I look to my left, and there was a guy, and sticking out of his case on the floor by his legs was a camera. And I just happened to say to him, nice camera. Now, many of you know I like my photography, and he said, yeah, I've been in France with the family for a few days. I'm a professional photographer. I'm flying home to do a wedding. I said, really? I had the best flight back from Nice. It's 1 hour, 45 minutes, and that 1 hour, 45 minutes, him and I, Rupert, we talked non-stop about photography, about what applications we used, about what kind of, we even got our phones out and shared photos with each other. Guess what? I said, what does your wife do? He said, she's a lawyer and she hates it. I said, really? Really? Tell me more. Tell me more. What doesn't she like about it? He said, well, you know, we don't get to see each other. He said, she works such long hours. We want to start a family and we just don't get to see each other. I said, Rupert, today's your lucky day. He said, why is that? I said, because you met me. I said, I have something that I think your wife will be really interested in. I said, but I can't talk now because I'm off to Uganda, and when I get back, I'm going back down to France, so can we speak when I get back from Liverpool? Him and I have already exchanged details. He's coming up to the house. We're going to spend some time together, and his wife's going to look at what we're doing. Now, how easy was that? But how many of you, when you get on an airplane, plug in your headphones, watch a movie, completely ignore the people around you because you're in your own zone? How many of you do that? Stop it. Stop it. Okay. We had a problem with our septic tank. Maybe not a very nice subject to talk about. But the guy that came out to fix it wasn't your average septic tank fixer. Does that make sense? He was very smart for a start, and he was very, very well presentable. We got chatting, and I got his name. His name was Angus. I said, Angus, I recognise the accent. Where do you come from? I knew, of course, where he came from, because it was a South African accent, but I wanted him to tell me. So he said, I come from South Africa. I said, oh, amazing. I spend a lot of time there. Whereabouts? He said, Cape Town. I said, oh, fascinating. I said, have you got family there? He said, yeah, I've got lots of them. I said, you see them often? He said, not often enough. I said, would you like to see them more often? He said, you know, of course I would, Jayne. I said, you know something? I've got something I think you might be interested in. You know where this is going, don't you? I was talking to Nicola the other day, and Nicola was so excited about her business. about the fact that it's gone into the UAE, and she's got some phenomenal stuff going on there. And she was telling me about a brand new person that she has got going, new managers breaking in Saudi Arabia. Wasn't even on my radar. Hadn't even thought about Saudi Arabia. Hadn't even thought about it. But isn't it interesting when somebody plants something in here, if you're a professional networker, how you embrace it? See, if I'm not connected, remember those 7 key points I made to you right at the beginning of my presentation? If I wasn't connected to those 7 key points, Saudi Arabia would have gone in one ear and out the other. Nothing. But not me, because I'm a professional networker. Saudi Arabia. Do I know anybody in Saudi Arabia? No, I don't. Where do I meet Saudi Arabians? And it was in my head, and where do you meet these people? So, literally a couple of days later, I'm in London, in Selfridges, in the food hall upstairs. As you are, having a quick bite by the noodle bar. Looked to my right. Actually, I didn't like the look of him, so I looked to my left. And there to the left was this amazing-looking woman. And I just said to her, "Oh, this smells gorgeous. What have you ordered?" She told me what she ordered, and I said, "Oh, I wish I'd ordered that now." I didn't really wish I'd ordered it, but, you know, conversation. And she said, "Do you live in London?" I said, No, I'm just down here doing a bit of work and visiting my son." And she said, "Oh, that's nice." I said, "Where do you live?" She said, "Saudi Arabia." I said, "No way." She said, "Yeah, I'm over here with my daughter. I brought her for 2 weeks to see London. She's never seen London before, and we've had such an amazing time. We're going home tomorrow." I said, "Oh my goodness, that is incredible." I said, "What do you do?" She said, "I'm a teacher." I said, "Really?" And we just got talking, and before you know it, we've exchanged numbers. I said to her, "Look, I can't speak to you for at least 3 weeks. I'm off to Uganda in a couple of days' time, and then when I get back, I'm going to France." She said, "Don't worry, Jayne, I'm going to New York." I said, "Perfect. Why don't we speak the first week in September?" Do you know what she said to me? She said, "Please don't forget to call me." Now, why did she say that? Because I was happy, because I was on purpose, because I was passionate, because I had a big smile on my face, because I believe in what I'm doing, and because I genuinely love people, want to connect with them, want to friend them, and eventually want to share with them what I do. Because I am a professional network marketer. What are you? Oh, and by the way, Sonny, I did give them my card because I do carry a card, but I also found her on Facebook and friended her on Facebook as well. So, I want you to consider this. Yes, you're all going to do an amazing Who Do You Know list. Yes, you are going to start networking. Yes, you are going to have a presence on social media. But remember this. Every single one of you interact, engage with people, meet people on a daily basis. Do not walk by them. Do not ignore them, because a simple hello and a smile can open the door to so many possibilities. We are hope givers. Everybody we come into contact with, we give them hope for a bigger, better future than they ever dreamt possible. Go out, say hello to people, smile, have fun, and become a professional network marketer. Thank you very much for your time today.